Make sure you take camera one.
Aren't you do your opening? I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. You're watching Capital Region today. This has been a bumpy morning, but we're going to get through it. And thank you so much for watching. We've got a great lineup. We're going to be talking about the Capital Region Aquatic Center that's coming into Schenectady. It's going to be on the Mohawk Harbor. Learn all about that. We're going to learn about a free concert coming up for the Schenectady Symphony. Fabulous, fabulous group. Great music. But this one is a little bit different, and we'll be hearing about that because there's going to be some vocals with that. Then we're going to be hearing about the exhibition over at the Folklore Society, which is on J Street, and it's about the Greek Orthodox icons, and we have an iconographer on. I think I got that correct, and we're going to be talking to them about it. The artist will be here. Then we're going to meet the brand new director over at Schenectady Ministries. And we'll find out what their mission is and what they're doing and what his plans are as being the new director. And then we're going to wrap up the show with talking about the Crossroads for Center for Children and what they're doing. They have a great program there, so got lots coming up here on the show. We're going to start right out with Kara Harrington, and she is the director, president of the Capital Region Aquatic Center, but this isn't her first foray into aquatic centers. We're going to get her background, find out what she's up to, and when can we plan on that swim. Hey, good to see you here, Kara.
Good to see you too.
Yeah,
Thank
tell
you.
me, you got a great plan coming up. You're looking for money.
Yes.
Well, no, that's a happy thing.
Yes, it is a happy thing. We do need money to get this built.
Yeah. So tell me, you're looking at 80,000 square feet. Is that correct?
Yes, 80,000 square feet. It's a 4-pool facility, Olympic size, 50-meter pool, an instruction pool, a diving well, and a therapy pool.
You got it all.
Yeah, so what's great about that is competitions can be happening, and then there's uninterrupted programming. So our swimming lessons and senior exercise will go along while competitions can be happening.
Now, will you be working with like the school districts? Like I think
Yes.
Niskayuna has a pool, and some of the schools do have pools, but some don't. Would you be working with them as well to get a
Definitely.
swim program for them as well?
Yes, and we have a mission to do, starting with Schenectady School District, every second grader learning how to swim. So kind of partnering
I wish you'd have been
with
there
the-
when I was small. I still
know,
can't swim. So.
You really?
No.
Well, we're going to get you in there.
No, I don't think
Adult
anybody
learn
can.
to swim. A third of adults in the U.S. cannot swim the length of a pool.
Really?
So don't feel bad.
Okay.
You
well,
have a lot of company.
If you can use me as a poster child
There you
or a
go.
poster adult, I guess, if I may, if you make it happen.
Everyone thinks swim lessons are for just children, and that is not true.
Yeah, well, I think part of the issue is that when you have parents that don't swim, and
Yes.
then they tell you, don't go in the water, don't go, don't, you know.
So their fear of swimming is
It carries on, and of course, that's what happens, and but we shouldn't do that. But I made sure all of my 3 daughters could swim. I said, because I'm never going to save you.
still learn to
Count
save
on it.
yourself.
I am not going to save you.
Right.
So they
Very
all
good.
learned how to swim. That was good. None of them are big swimmers, but they all know how
But
to
it's
swim.
a life-saving skill.
Yeah.
So
So let's talk about, I know that we had a map, and I know we've had a little trouble with our PowerPoint. Can we get a map up of what the layout is of the, that one? I guess that's the layout. If we can bring that up, and maybe you can explain to us what we're looking at.
okay, so the far left is, I just have to orient myself. Okay, so that is the diving well, and that we plan on having 1 meter, 3 meter, and platform diving. So all sorts of diving there. That well can also be used for synchronized swimming, for scuba diving.
Scuba diving, that's
Scuba
great.
diving because
So
you
they
need
can-
the deeper water.
Yeah, okay.
And the state police reached out to us at one point. Search and rescue is very big, and they do that in our local lakes, but our northeast weather, as it's
Yeah.
50 degrees and raining out in May right now, they can go under in the frozen lakes, but they can't stay under for very long, and obviously that's very dangerous.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting how many different programs are out there that we would be able to...
That you're going to just kind of slip right into that, or
Right.
that
It's-
need shoring up.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's not just swimming.
Yeah.
It's all sorts of activities and programs and other swimming sports. There's synchronized swimming, diving, water polo. So
Water polo, oh yeah.
see?
Yeah.
There's so
That isn't
many.
Marco Polo, is it?
No, well, I'm sure there's going to be some Marco Polo going on too in the facility.
But that's great. So what are you doing to raise money? Because we want this to be, from your estimates, it's going to bring in $40 million the first year.
Yes. So in economic impact.
Exactly. I
So-
mean, not just to you, of course.
Right,
It's going to be to
exactly.
the restaurants and everything else around you.
So
Overnight
it will
stays.
be a public-private partnership. So we're hoping to get some state money, and we have been fundraising. The idea came about in 2013. So we've been working at this for over 7 years.
Okay.
A very hard, dedicated volunteer board. They're just wonderful and passionate and determined to get this done. So grants, we're naming rights for the facility and different pools and different components. And
It's really, I think it's such a great project because we kind of, we don't think about swimming as being as big as it should be.
Right.
And this is really a way to do it. Now, you have 2 other facilities, is that correct? Or you say, I think I read where there's only 2 places in New York State that do this. But I
Yes.
don't know if they're yours, but.
no, they are not.
Yeah,
no.
okay.
There's a facility in Long Island.
Okay.
That is similar as far as the platform diving, the 50-meter Olympic-sized pool, instruction pool. And there's another facility in Buffalo that doesn't have the platform diving. University of Buffalo does, but a lot of the colleges and universities don't open up for rentals.
Right,
You know, a lot of these facilities are built
So
for.
you're filling a need. You're really
Oh,
filling
definitely.
a very good need.
We've had two feasibility studies done, and there is a huge need for indoor water. And that need too broaches out. Our area has so many waterways, rivers, pools,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
drowning
absolutely.
statistics are so. It's so depressing, and
Yeah.
we need to open up more programs, get adults and these kids
Raise the
back
awareness
in the pool.
of that swimming isn't important. I can attest it's very important.
Right.
That I just wish I had learned, but anyways, I did.
No, well, but there's still time.
Yeah, there's still time. She said there's time,
There's
so
time.
I will be the poster person. If they can teach me to swim, anybody can teach.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the pools that exist are doing a great job, but they're overcrowded.
Yeah.
A lot of these pools were built for
Like the
specific.
Ys, yeah.
Right, and the Ys have their members, the colleges have their students and their athletes in the pools. So there's a lot of scrambling for that couple of hours that they might have open. And this opens up a whole, and I think a lot of these colleges and Ys could even program other.
Exactly.
So it's a facility that's going to crave rental and utilization.
Yeah.
It's not like we're going to come in and other pools are going to have to close.
No.
Right,
There's a need for it.
expand.
There's a need for it.
Yes.
So just to, I know that you're talking about raising funds. Do they go to your website to find out? And your website is, I don't have it in front of me.
It's
but-
capitalregionaquaticcenter.org.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And I do
There
have
is
it
a
written down.
donation page on there.
Yep, I got it right here. And then they can make a donation. No donation is too small.
No donation is too small.
They like the big ones, but you'll take it.
Well, we'll take anything.
You'll take
We'll
anything.
take
And do you have
anything.
matching funds for any of these? I mean, sometimes there's matching
We do
funds.
have some groups that will do matching.
That would be nice.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be
Kara,
great.
it's been a pleasure to meet you, and I hope that you'll be on again when you get closer to the.
I would love to
And then
be.
we can actually, and I'll dive in and, well.
There you go.
Maybe not.
Now that's a challenge. We're going to
It's
get
a
you in
challenge.
there.
She's just set it up for me, so we're good to go. But
Yes.
thank you so much
Thank
for
you
being
so
here.
much.
We're going to switch over to our next guest. We have Glen Cortese. He's the artistic director, and you do amazing work with the Symphony. They are such a wonderful group, and the music is amazing. But what are you doing now? Free concert, and it's going to be with vocalists?
Yes, what we're doing is a very cut-down version of Mozart's opera Così fan tutte, so we're calling the project Quasi fan tutte.
Quasi. I know that.
And-
I saw that, and quasi means, well, almost, but not quite.
Right, and it's going to be done in English.
Oh, it will be in English. Oh, good.
And of course, it's a virtual concert because we're not doing live concerts this season.
Right.
But it's a wonderful comic opera, a lot of fun.
What do they call it, buffa?
Opera buffa,
Yeah.
yes, correct.
And isn't that when Mozart did it for the common people?
Well,
Or did he do that for I think, Joseph II was the one that really wanted him to do that, I think. get?
Well, these operas, the Figaro and Così fan tutte, these were collaborations with Lorenzo da Ponte, the librettist. So these were kind of more high art operas. The opera you're thinking of is The Magic Flute, which Emanuel Schikaneder wrote the libretto for, and that was really for the folk theater. But this is it's a very common people kind of story. There are two sisters who are in love with two different brothers, and there's a challenge from the brother's friend that their betrothed can't be faithful. So he puts on this sort of charade disguising the guys who then come and try to woo the opposite sister, and it sort of, goes from there.
Yeah, so it's a comic opera, obviously. And right now I have with us Atticus Rego. You are here and you're playing the old philosopher, I believe?
Yeah, Don Alfonso, actually.
Yes,
yeah, it's the curse of having a low voice at a young age. I have to play all the old men when I'm 20, but it's a blast no matter what. So.
And there's quite a few in your opera that you're doing. There's like 6 or 7 in it, is that correct?
6 characters, yes.
Yeah.
The two sisters, the two brothers, Don Alfonso and Despina, the scheming maid. So
The scheming maid.
Yes.
I love stories like that, and I did read the libretto on it was Vicki, I think, had a bit of that. Tell me what the difference is, and it's like the translation loosely is, well, women are like that, or something like that, that it kind of, isn't that, or something similar to that? So tell me, what is this different than the original Mozart? I mean, how did Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart write it, and then this quasi come up? How did that? I don't know who wants to answer that.
First of all, we're not staging the piece, meaning you won't see costumes or people moving around on stage. It's done in concert. But we've cut a lot of the opera to make it a length that's video friendly.
Oh, I see.
But we're still telling the whole story. And in operas like this, we have little sections called recitativo, and those are usually done just with a keyboard. And they kind of move the story along from one aria or ensemble to the next.
Okay.
The arias and ensembles dwell on an idea, and the recitativo sort of propels the story. So in order to make that happen, there'll be narration over still shots in between the numbers to kind of tell the story. So it's essentially a cut version of the opera with the storytelling to go along and be as entertaining as possible. And also the reason we're doing it in English is because people can really get the story then if they don't know Italian.
I know, it's like if you go to a real, opera and then it's running over the top, so you kind of have to read and watch, read and watch. But it's helpful to know what's going on in the opera. Are you filming this at Proctor's?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, and you're going to do that on the main stage, I imagine, right?
Yes, and I've been told filming is not the current word anymore. We capture things now. We don't film them anymore in the digital world. So.
Oh, are you zooming them? We're going to zoom them or capture them. I don't know. We have a whole new language, I think, with COVID has coming up. And I do want to mention that people at this table, we've all had our double shot. So, I mean, vaccination. I just want to make sure they know what it is. Tell me about your background, Atticus. You're at the college.
Yes, I go to Skidmore College.
Skidmore,
yeah.
And you are a music major?
No, it's funny actually. I'm an economics major.
You're an economics major. Well, then you know how to produce these things.
I mean, maybe better than I know how to sing it. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, how did you get involved with Glen?
Well, it's funny actually. I was an athlete in high school, and I sort of petered out, and I wasn't going to be a very high-level athlete as I approached college.
Yeah, unfortunately, they do find that out.
They do find that out. It's hard to hide. Yeah,
my
it's going to go to so many
found that out
tournaments.
as well.
It's okay. But I came to college, and I knew that I had an interest in mathematics and economics, and so I chose Skidmore because I also had an interest in theater, and it's a liberal arts school, so they allow you to take classes in anything you really want, so long as you fulfill all the requirements for the major. And so while I was at Skidmore, I started doing theatrical productions alongside my economic studies, and then one thing led to another, and a year after I was kind of doing some main stage shows, one of the voice teachers, Dr. Sylvia Stoner-Hawkins, approached me, and she asked me if I wanted to have voice lessons with her. So my sophomore year, I started taking voice lessons, and now 3 years later, here I am.
This is amazing. Did you audition all these?
Well, I had
Students,
worked.
because they come from St. Rose and Skidmore, is that
Well,
correct?
four of the cast members are faculty
Are
members,
faculty members, yeah.
and the other two are students, and the faculty simply recommended who they
okay. What a nice recommendation you
Yeah,
got.
come
and
along
I had
way,
already
yeah.
worked with all the faculty members before, so we knew each other, and I trusted their judgment. So I didn't need to audition anyone for this project.
And then what made you choose this piece?
Well, because it's light, it's fun. I think it'll be really entertaining for the audience. The original production also has a chorus, but the chorus numbers are not essential for the story, so we were able to not have to have the additional problem in this environment that we're in now of having a chorus. And it was really a piece that you could make cuts in and still tell the story and still have a lot of beautiful music. So. We're all trying new things now in this environment where we're having to
Isn't that, we
adjust
have created a new world.
make a lot of changes in what we do. Hopefully next year we'll be back to normal, but it was a way to get a project out there, to have something for our audience. And by the way, this is a free
I know.
program. We're not charging tickets for this. It's a gift to the
When
community.
can we see this, though? I mean, now that you got us all excited,
Well,
when can we see
we're
this?
shooting towards around the 20th to 21st of May for the actual release,
Oh, okay.
because once we finish the video project, there has to be a lot of editing
mean
that goes
capturing
into
it?
Yes, the capturing. We have to do all the editing and put it all together,
Yeah.
and by the time that happens and we're able to get it released, we're looking around the 20th, 21st of May. And people could check our website, within the next week or so, and we'll probably have a posted date as to when
Give
it's
us
available.
a rough date.
Exactly.
I would think that you would almost want to recommend this for anyone who has never seen an opera, because it's number one in English, it's short, and it has a fun flair to it.
Absolutely, and it's not just all fun and hijinks. There's some really beautiful,
I'm
serious
sure.
music in it too. That's sung really beautifully by this cast. So they'll get everything that opera is about: beautiful music,
And it's still the music of
entertainment.
Mozart.
Oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
all Mozart's music. It's just we've kind of encapsulated the piece a little bit to make it more appropriate length for video.
This, I think it's wonderful what you're doing, and one of the things that's happened during the pandemic is the arts have really taken a hit. We haven't been able to see music in live music. We haven't been able to see live theater. There's so many things that have kind of set us back a little, but the fact that you're doing this, and I know that, and I'd like to address you, Glenn, because this isn't your only thing that you do. You come up here from New York City, I believe.
Correct.
To help with to be the artistic director for the Schenectady Symphony. I read your resume, and I think the last time you were on, I was like in total awe because you've done so much. Can you tell me about some of the other projects you're doing just for fun?
You mean outside of my conducting,
yeah,
or
yeah.
Well, the other work
This is
that I
for
do.
fun.
Oh, for fun. Okay. I'm a woodworker as a hobby, and
You make your own batons?
I actually do. Yeah. But I also make fine furniture and things like that.
See, I didn't know that.
And I'm an avid reader, and I certainly have had a lot of time to do those other projects in this last year and a half. Normally, I would be conducting between 18 to 22 different concerts a year with the two orchestras I work with and other places. And in this entire season, this will be my 5th and final concert. So, and the fact that I've had any is amazing, because a lot of people have had none.
Yeah, that's true.
I did give a concert in Florida recently, and it was in a 1,700-seat hall, and there was actually a live audience of 150 people.
know. I mean,
But
it's
it was amazing to be in front of a live audience again and have that energy back. So
Exactly.
hopefully we'll be getting there pretty soon.
Yeah, and I'll be coming back too, but I want to thank you, Atticus, for being here, and I wish you well in your future as whether you're going to be on Broadway doing all the producing and then jumping out and singing a solo or two, who
Thank
knows.
you.
But I wish you well,
Awesome.
and I think it's great that you have some ability to do a little shifting and
Yeah.
explore.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for being here.
My pleasure.
I want to get back to you, Glenn, and I hope that you'll be able to continue with the Schenectady Symphony, because it is a wonderful symphony.
Oh, I really enjoy being here. I love the town, and I was kind of sorry that right after I got started, we had an October concert, my first season as music director, January, and the next concert we were supposed to have was right when everything got locked down.
I know.
So it's been kind of a long road to get back to even this far, but I'm looking forward to the next phase.
Yeah, and you don't lose your skills, and you'll be just making a lot more batons or furniture. Exactly. At least you have something else to do to take your mind off of not doing the thing that is your passion, which is music, of course. I look forward to seeing your production on, it'll be on YouTube or on Facebook. I don't, but you'll let us know where. And it'll be towards the end of May, we'll be looking for that. And I thank you.
It will be through our website and Proctor's website. You'll be able to find
that's
it.
how you're going to do it. Okay, good. So we'll do that, and I'll be looking for you.
Thanks so much.
Okay, with that brand new time. We're going to go to our next guest here, and I have Ellie McHale with us. Ellie, it's so good to have you on. The Folklore Society has been doing a lot of great things as well. And you have a new exhibition coming up, and we have, and I believe the artist will be joining us momentarily. And he's does Greek Orthodox frescoes and everything. I was amazed at what I saw that you did, because you did something at St. Sophia's, and also the one in Cahos, St. George's, I believe.
I'm working for 15 years in St. Sophia's Greek Orthodox Church. I'm making decoration of the church with images, because iconography, the name of icons, is mean images in in English.
And we only have one. We only have one of your images, so they brought.
And so I work in full time for 15 years in St. Sophia's Greek Orthodox Church. I decorate in the church with icons, with the frescoes, and direct in the wall. Yeah.
Yes.
This is what I'm doing, and also in the Cahos, St. Nicholas
Cahos
Russian Orthodox Church,
yeah.
I'm making decoration with icons, with saints. They like to do. There, and I make those icons for them too, yeah.
Yes, and I read somewhere that you do it in the Macedonian style.
Macedonian style,
yeah,
yes.
and that has to do with the facial?
The Macedonian style is it's from Macedonian emperors of Byzantium.
The Byzantine.
This is ancient technique. It could be. It's an ancient technique, and after that they come up. This is Macedonian style. We do it, yeah.
Yeah, I read that. That was rather interesting.
Yeah.
And you're Albanian, is that correct?
I am Albanian, but we have a Greek origin from my mother's side, and I speak Albanian, Greek, and English.
Isn't that in English? Yeah. You're doing very well in English. My goodness. And Ellie, how did you find him?
Well, it's an interesting story. The New York State Council on the Arts 6 years ago asked us to begin to document parts of New York State that were not well documented for folk and traditional arts. And we started in Western New York, and to this year we're in the Capital Region. So Efthymios was, I think, one of the first artists we documented by interviewing and photographing his work. And we're really pleased that everything has come to fruition very fast. But our goal is to really highlight the artists that we have in our region this year, and draw attention to the wonderful arts that we have here.
And how many pieces? I know. I mean, you do the art, and do you do restoration as well?
No restoration.
No restoration.
But I can make frescoes directly in the wall or in canvas.
And frescoes are on the wall, correct?
In the wall, yeah.
Right on the wall. So they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to steal them. So what is your preference? Do you prefer to do like on a palette, or do you prefer the fresco?
I like to the both of those. I like. For example, in icon board, I could make with 24 carats gold leaves. That I could make small icons, and I could make big decoration of the churches. Depends the people which like to do much more, but I don't have any preference. The both of those style, I like to do the both of those. Yeah.
Now are there the two Greek Orthodox churches, but there's also an Armenian Orthodox church too. So I don't know whether they do icons.
Usually in the Catholic Church, and for the Catholic Church, I've done a gigantic cross, 8 feet by 6 feet cross.
Oh, okay, 8 by 6. Okay.
In Syracuse, they was happy. They love to see those icons that I have done for them. Yeah. And Catholic Church like to have Byzantine iconography, because 1,000 years ago, before Michelangelo, Buonarroti, and Da Vinci,
You
was
were doing the
born.
stuff, right?
All the Europe, all the nations did that kind of style of visual art that decorate the churches and bring the faith more to the people, bring more faith, yeah.
And what is your background in art? I know that you've been well educated in art. So tell me a little bit about how you got started.
I have actually I have finished fine art in Albania, but I have to say in my father village they have some churches, and when I was a kid it was like a playground to play in the front yard of the church. And I saw the frescoes over there. They are 300 years old frescoes, and it was like my idea to do something like that. And
Even at an early age, it kind of struck you that that was something you wanted to do.
Yeah, I said to myself, if I could do that like them, yeah. But when I wanted in the fine art school, we did the practice in one Byzantine museum. It was like a Middle-Age museum or Byzantine museum in Cortese, Albania. There I have the presentation with the icons they have done. The masters, the Middle-Age master did it at that time. Yeah. After when I went into Greece, because my mother have origin from Greece, and I went into Greece. And I went in the monastery of Saint Ephraim monastery, and I saw the frescoes they did over there, and I like it. At that time, I decided to be iconographer.
So it just struck you, and it's been really from the beginning of his life. He's kind of you immersed yourself in that, and I love that your parents just let you do that.
Yeah,
they didn't say you need to be an accountant, right?
No.
Although that probably wouldn't have been bad, but it was like, you know, sometimes you go with your passion. So you found this gentleman somehow.
Well, not me personally, but we have 3 community field workers. Because of COVID, it's very difficult to go out into a community and interview and talk to people. So I have 3 community field workers who are closer to the community, and one of them spoke to Efthymios very early on, and in the process. But we're still, it's ongoing. So the project is still going on.
I love it. Now, how many pieces do you have of Efthymios?
I don't know. How many did you hang up?
Could be, usually I have put some icons over there and some projects that I have done. For example, project, how a drawing of before I have started to make a gigantic icon in St. Sophia's, I have drawn like architectural design, because
you got to start somewhere.
I have to know how that will be in the wall. And after that, I have put some projects and some icons and some one sample of one big icon is in the canvas. It's angel, Archangel Michael, and Archangel Gabriel. It's done in canvas because I like to show to the people how the icon started, how the project started from small, could be
steps that it takes to do
gigantic
this.
project, or it could be small project with one icon. Yeah.
So when they come to the exhibit, which opens on May 15th or something, or when is
It's
it?
actually up now.
It's open up
It's
now.
up
Okay.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I must have got
No,
my,
that's fine.
Yeah.
So people can see the process. There's some icons that are in process, the beginning stages, the sketches, then the beginning stages.
I look forward to seeing that, because it seems to me anybody who is an art student or an artist would appreciate seeing the development of doing a fresco or doing something. I mean, because you can't just stand on the wall and sketch it out. I mean, you really have to have an idea of how it's going to fit.
And what's nice for us also is Efthymios does other kind of work. So we have one wall of our gallery is the iconography, and the other wall is landscapes and still lifes.
Okay, so you kind of spread out.
Yeah, I find the inspiration here in the Mohawk Valley, and I have done some landscaping in Mohawk in the autumn or falls, you can say. And I've done some paintings about the capital region areas like that, yeah.
And I wonder, are any of his paintings for sale? Somebody really likes them.
Yes,
Okay.
I think not all of them, right? But several.
Could be, if,
Or I'm sure you could
somebody's
commission him to
interested,
do
yeah.
one for you, right?
Exactly.
It's amazing. I want to thank you, Euthemius, for being here and sharing your life story, which is fascinating.
Thank you
And
for
your
having me.
art, and you must be the only iconographer that I have ever had on the show.
I'm glad.
Thank you for
invite
being the
me.
first.
I'm glad. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good, thank you, sir, for being here.
Thanks.
And Ellie, they can see this, and how long will this exhibit be up?
It will actually be up through the middle of October.
Okay.
We have, last year we did a Dia de los Muertos altar, and so that will go on after Euthemios' work goes down. And then following that, in the middle of November, we have the Noah Corey, who is from Altamont, is a blacksmith, a fine blacksmith, and his work will be following after that.
Well,
So-
blacksmithing, I mean, I've seen some beautiful work. I've had a blacksmith or a couple of blacksmiths on my show, and when I see the work that they do and how artistic it can be, you know, we always think when we talk about art, you know, blacksmith, they must just be putting the shoes on those horses. And I asked one of the blacksmith that was on, I said, so are you putting the shoes on the horses? And he says, I've never done that. You know, it's like, oh, wow, I guess I was really off base on that one.
So we'll have an art show with blacksmith the work of a blacksmith. So so that's our schedule for the year, and then we haven't had an opening yet for Euthemios' show, but we will have some kind of reception late.
Oh, good.
late in
I'd
the
like
summer.
to at least. I want to check out his because it sounds amazing, and I've always thought the icons were really interesting because it's a different form of art. And like you said, the Byzantine and how he does the Macedonian style. It's like, what are these? You know, it's like I'm just being wrapped up in the new style, new things of art that I was not aware of. But we are learning those things, and I think that's what these exhibits that you put together, because you've done Native American, you've done a number of them. And all it does is expand what we know about other cultures.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
So we really invite people to come on down. We're open except Mondays, and so it's open to see the exhibit. That'd be great to have people come.
Yeah, no, I definitely am going to see, because I just want to see the start to finish of a fresco, or how he does that,
Great.
because it's just so fascinating. But I really applaud what you do. You're with
thank
the
you.
New York State Folklore Society. Thank goodness you're here locally, and I know that you have events like downstate
We
and
do.
western part.
We're all over.
You're all over, and we really need to embrace the folklore of our state, because we are so rich.
Rich and very diverse, and
Very diverse.
Many, many talented artists.
Yeah. But thank you for being here. It's
Oh,
always a
thank
pleasure
you.
to see you
It's always
and to
wonderful
have
to
you on
be
the
here.
show. And thank you for bringing Euthemius
Euthemius.
with us, because he was charming and so insightful, and I loved his story.
That's great.
So thank you for being
Thank
here.
you, Ann.
And
Thank
now
you.
we're going to switch gears a little bit, and we're going over to the Schenectady Ministries. Yeah, brand new.
Indeed.
You are brand new. You are their new executive director. You replace Phil Grisby, I believe. And I just want to learn about what you're doing and what your plans are. And I have to say, when I read your resume, that I'm overwhelmed by what you did before. You were the network for the Northeast Presbyterian. So tell me a little bit about your background and what brought you to Schenectady. I mean, I know you're in the Northeast, but to Schenectady to apply for the job and then get selected.
So I think a long story short starts with me being born, raised, I worshipped, I responded to my vocation as a pastor in the city, in Rio Piedras, Puerto Rico.
Okay, so that's downstate, and you also were in New Jersey too? And
Well, before that, all the way in Puerto Rico, I came stateside to do seminary
Okay.
in 2002.
And I've been to Puerto Rico. What a beautiful
Thank you.
island that is.
Thank you.
I just really loved it there. Yeah,
So
go
that
ahead.
community in Rio Piedras, in the bustling college town by the University of Puerto Rico, was the one that nourished my vocation. And I've really never understood church any other way than through the city. Moved stateside for graduate studies in 2002 to go to seminary, was a pastor in White Plains, New York, and also in Elizabeth,
So
New
what
Jersey.
a change that was.
From Puerto Rico to the Northeast, indeed.
And the weather even.
And well, true. And then to serve in the Synod of the Northeast, which is Presbyterian lingo for the region of the Northeast, serving 1,100 congregations in all of New Jersey, all of New York, and throughout the New Englands. That was a good 7-year stint.
It probably took you 7 years to get through all of them.
Well, true, indeed, right? 4 years ago, I moved to the capital region, and the draw of the city, it never left me. As you would understand, the Northeast is a very diverse expression of the church. When the call for Schenectady Community Ministries came out after Phil retired, the city drew me. The service based on a response to ethical and moral calls that the theological traditions that originally put up the Schenectady Community Ministries drew me, but also the call to becoming an interfaith organization. An interesting dynamic because some 55 years ago, very soon, the Unitarian Universalists were part of this bunch of Christians, right? That came. So it was always been an interfaith organization, but now wanting to become interfaith and wanting to assume social justice and racial reconciliation as core to the mission, spoke to my heart and said, you know what? I'm going to put in my name to see where it leads, and here I am. Does
that mean you're giving up everything else? I mean, you, in your heart, you probably aren't, but I'm just saying that you're focusing totally on this mission here.
Absolutely.
And there are, 55 churches or something?
A little over 50. Yesterday, we welcome the 2 new congregations, the Nemeton of the Mother Grove, a group of Druids that worship in our area, and Congregation Agudat Akim, the conservative congregation, Jewish congregation up on Route 7.
Union,
right? So some, 52 now at the congregations. But now of many faith traditions. So what does it mean for us to keep our stake in the ground, which has been food insecurity for all these years, responding to the call to become a social justice organization and working for racial reconciliation, now from different ethical and moral perspectives, right? It's a challenge that really caught my attention, and I'm glad they selected me to respond.
Now you have an urban farm as well?
We do. We farm right now 1.3 acres of urban land.
Where is that located?
On Hewlett Street, on the Vale, and west, I should say, east, on the of a Central Park. We have access actually to 2 acres of land. We're creating a grove on our Vale site on the other side of where we are farming. An expression of the work that we are doing in that it's not simply farming for the sake of it. It's not gardening in the traditional sense of it. We're actually farming because we're bringing people together to get connected to the soil, but also bringing the diversity that Schenectady is in affirming what is it that's been native to this part of the world, but also what is it that is being brought by the many cultures that are living now in Schenectady. So that's dynamic of learning about what New York State has done traditionally for us as far as food goes, but also getting to hear and experience together what is it that other traditions either consider those to be or are bringing new to this area from the soil. It has been a very impacting expression of our work.
I cannot imagine what you're growing, because I have to say, I had a Chinese living with me for a while, visiting and staying with me and cooking, and I said, take over my kitchen. But I saw foods that I was not aware of. Are you, I'm trying to think, are you kind of incorporating some of the foods, like certain peppers that you might find in Puerto Rico or in Cuba? Things like that you wouldn't normally find in a grocery store, but you might find.
Absolutely, right. Growing, and there was a couple of weeks in the Delegates Deck they were highlighting the Guyanese community, right? So how does that Caribbean expression, right? It also works here. So we're seeking to do 3 things. We are growing them in the farm. We are seeking to stapling them in the pantry, but in our new construction project, we are creating a community kitchen. So how do we bring all those 3 things together, right? Getting people to connect it to the land, getting people who are in need of food, not only food for the sake of eating, but quality food for the sake of nourishment, but also bringing all that together in a kitchen so that we are not simply handing out food or just showing you how to do stuff, but creating community and awareness of each other in a way that's going to strengthen our awareness of the diversity in Schenectady, but also our own sense of community together, right? And food is the perfect way of doing that.
Well, isn't that the center of every ethnic group? I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm Italian, and if it isn't food, what is it,
Indeed.
But one of the things that I hear you saying about the community kitchen, I'm not sure what the design is or anything, but what a wonderful way to have cooking classes given by ethnic groups to show how to make certain things that I would love to learn. I would love to learn Middle Eastern cooking. I would love to learn many of the, the Spanish dishes or the Puerto Rican or the, Honduras or wherever you're from. It not only that, but it brings us together on a level that isn't political.
Indeed.
It's food.
Right.
And we're talking about things that show our families and celebrations and all the things that we really all share.
It's a way for organizations like ours to move beyond telling people what you need to do in order to survive, to actually giving them the power to tell each other, these are the ways my tradition, my people, my food allow us to thrive. Let's all thrive together and create this new thing that is diversity in Schenectady. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I know that some of the food pantries, somebody told me that Italian, so the fennel, and people don't know what to do with that.
Right.
They look at it, it's there, and they go, what is that? And I'm sure that if I saw kvass or some of the other things like I do if I go to some of the more ethnic grocery stores, I don't know what to do with them.
And think about it, anything from how to do baby food, with fresh produce that's available to you, but you have never seen it before. How to can and preserve foods, with as traditional to the capital region, but also for the traditions. But also, let me teach you not only how I cook it from where I'm from, but the story behind it. Because nourishment is not only about feeding the body, it's also about feeding the soul. And now I get to show you how I, again, not only survived, but how my soul was nourished through this food, and how I get now to incorporate other foods that I didn't know before.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And of course you can even, at this point, even talk about the different celebrations from different countries and different religions.
Absolutely.
I mean, we just had an Orthodox Easter, which is a week or two after a regular Easter.
That's
I don't
right.
know.
Yep.
Believe me,
Couple of Sundays ago. No.
You understand this much more than I do, but it has to do with some solar stuff. Or
St. George's down the road was celebrating Easter on May 2nd. That's right.
Yeah, and it's like, and I never have understood that, but hey, that's just me. But see, these are the things that we can spread and talk about.
And because we have these over 50 faith communities that are members of SICM, now coming from multiple religions, we will have the opportunity of highlighting that. Again, not only giving you food because you need it, but bringing you around food so you can survive and nourish your body and your soul. Absolutely.
Yeah, now you have the farm, and I understand growing, these little plants there, whatever, we're going to have
many things.
And a variety.
Yes.
You got some animals?
We do. We have bees, we have chickens, and we have.
You said bees?
We have bees.
We've got to protect those bees.
Yes. We are actually expanding our bee program over at the Vale. We have rabbits also, and we have chickens. A couple of weeks ago, folks were at the Vale, on our side at the Vale, fixing the chicken coop in order to bring them back from the winter spot that they were at.
Yeah.
And again, not only as a way of developing poultry, but as a way how all that process is symbiotic, right? They're having everybody present, in the same place
to fertilize,
absolutely,
all the
absolutely.
The things that
we need the bees in order for the plants to be at the pollinized, but also we need them for food, because the honey that they create is not only great to eat, but has phenomenal medical competencies. We are growing not only food, but we're also growing herbs around the medicine. And now that I'm thinking about it, it's not only bringing people around food and tradition, it's also bringing people around health.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And of course we all have, every ethnic group, like my grandmother always had the chamomile,
That's right.
Her dried chamomile.
And everybody their own little way of doing it.
And their own little way of doing it. And you know
Indeed.
what? Some of those, my background is pharmacy. I've taught and I've practiced pharmacy all my life in my career. So I understand that we sometimes make the error, and I have to say the error, of thinking every drug has to come out of a bottle. It doesn't have to come out of a bottle. There's many things that are natural that will help without, taking something else. And believe me, I absolutely respect life-saving drugs. But I think sometimes we forget that chamomile tea helps you get to sleep.
That's right. That's right. And
maybe a little mint will settle your stomach,
And getting to learn not only the ones that we know from the capital region and traditionally, but also from native traditions of the lands, but also people that are coming in. Again, there are many ways of doing this chamomile tea that will bring us all to well-being and health.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I really applaud what you're doing. I know
Thank
you're
you.
looking at racial issues, of course, and the food deserts. I mean, we talk about the food deserts where there's no food available. I mean, I'm not saying there's no food. You can go to a fast food.
Sure.
Terrible. I mean, excuse me. But, it's not the most nutritious
Absolutely.
thing.
Yep.
Okay. And we also go into a little 7-Eleven or a little bodega and get a little something there, but you're not getting fresh vegetables. You're not getting the oatmeal and the things like that. They're usually just the fast, easy things that people buy. So I think what you're doing, because the idea of so many people being overweight has to do with their diet.
Absolutely.
And they're eating foods that probably are filled with calories but not nutritious.
Right.
And I think what you're doing to try and shore that up and educate and share is wonderful. Yeah.
And doing that by accessing the land, providing higher quality food out of our pantry, but now soon, we hope, bringing people to a kitchen and learning what to do with that from each other.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask a very personal question.
Sure.
Do you cook?
I do. I do, and my wife wouldn't have it any other way.
There
Yes.
you go. Well, I just am checking to make sure that you're right in
Thank you.
the thick of things.
Indeed,
there.
indeed.
I want to welcome you to Schenectady.
Thank you.
And I hope that you'll come back on again. Because
Indeed.
I know, are you going to have the summer food program?
Summer meals is set to begin at the end of June. We are preparing to serve upwards of 60,000 breakfast and lunch and meals to children and youth. So indeed.
So maybe we'll have you on again to talk
I
a
look
little
forward
bit
to that.
about that program. And I know that you have people that are in charge of that, but I like your refreshing way of looking at things in our community.
Thank
It's
you.
very important. The most important thing is bringing people together,
Indeed.
and so that we aren't us and them.
That's the first
I
step.
hate the us and them
That's
thing.
the first step of creating a
It's either
community.
us or them.
That's right.
Good.
Indeed.
Thank you for being
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure meeting you.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're going to switch right over to talk about the Crossroads Center for Children. Thank you so much for being here. This is Kelly. And Kelly, you're the director over there. And with you, you've also brought Vicki, who is, public relations or whatever, however you want to
She
call
wears
it,
a lot of
because you've got resource development and everything. But let's talk about Crossroads, because I was looking at it and seeing what you're doing, and you use, if I get the thing right, it's, where is it? I have it, wrote it down here, that you do a kind of psychological
We use
basis.
applied behavior analysis.
Yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
yep.
I'm trying to remember how to say that. Excuse me.
No, that's-
Obviously, I'm not into that
No.
field. But anyway, tell me, how does that work? Because you have children that have some developmental. I don't want to use the word disability. It's just challenges.
Sure.
And you have anybody else. So how do you deal with that? I mean, do you test kids coming in? What do you do?
Most often children are tested before they get to us, and
Okay.
that's how they come to us. We have a wonderful preschool program that's integrated. So we do have kids who come to us who have no disability, and they're in the classroom with our students who have autism or another
And of
delay.
course, that's the spectrum is like that with autism. You know.
Exactly. So the preschool has both. School age, of course, their peers are in school, so the school age students that we have are all special needs students. But the applied behavior analysis is really looking at every child individually. So it doesn't really matter if they have a diagnosis.
Do
or
you have
what
an
that
IEP
is.
for each one?
They
Okay.
do, yep.
Yeah.
If they're there for special needs, they have an IEP. And we just look at every child and the behaviors that they're exhibiting, whether those are good behaviors like sharing and talking, or whether it's the maladaptive behaviors, which are things that we want to decrease or make more appropriate. And we look at why those things are happening and then chart our path based on that. So
So
it's-
how has this worked with COVID? Because, I mean, a lot of when you talk about autism, one of the things is they can't read facial, usually cues. So you put a mask on besides
Yeah, COVID was really hard. It was hard for our kids. When we shut down in March last year, our teachers are awesome. And, you know, Vicki and I wore our shirts today because we kind of
With the hands up and the hearts.
living the mottos of working together and seizing every opportunity and doing what works. And that's what our teachers did. We have such phenomenal staff. They just jumped into it, and they were trying to work with kids individually, doing a story time with a whole class on Zoom. I mean, they were just trying everything they could. But from March to June, it was hard. Our students don't want to sit in front of a computer and listen to someone try to teach them how to talk. That's not really going to happen.
Well, and then you've got, you know, you have the attention deficit, you know, that they, I mean, if they're in a room, it's maybe more easily to,
engaging.
there's more stimulation, but if it's in front of a TV, it's like, you know.
Plus,
it was really
a lot
hard.
of our kids, they need a lot of physical prompting, so parents, you know, had to really learn how to do that stuff at home where they weren't in the classroom getting physical prompting or, you know, just being in proximity and kind of gesturing to something is something that our kids benefit from. So doing it at home, now our teachers were teaching parents. It was just a really hard time. Everybody really rocked to get to get through that time together.
Yeah, see, I mean, it's really changed. I mean, we heard from our previous guest how with the orchestra and things like that things have changed. I mean, we have to find new ways of doing things. We're adaptable, thank goodness.
For sure.
But it's been tough on the kids. It really has, because kids are interactive.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
They
It was
want
really,
to be with other, they want to push and shove and play and, you know, do all the activities.
Thankfully, we were able to go back in June now, July,
July,
right?
yep.
We wrote to the governor. We had an assemblywoman help us to get our case made, and I'm sure a lot of other people in our position did as well. But we were allowed to open for summer school for our special ed
was good,
kids. So we've been, you know, that was what they needed, and we really, really pushed to make that happen. So that was really good.
Yeah, and you're here to actually talk about raising some funds as well, so let's not ignore
that's always
that.
the case.
That's always
Let's
the
not
case,
ignore
but
that.
COVID has definitely made that part way harder.
We hear from everybody.
Yeah,
It's like,
for
I mean,
sure.
you know, we have not been on the air. We stopped in the March, you know, when everything ended. It was like the curtain came down on everybody. And I didn't start up again until over a year later. And it took a toll, I think, because meeting people and being involved in your community was very important for me. And it was like, whoa, there's nobody doing anything out there. So you've got to, and raising money, of course, was even the worst part because people were now losing their jobs and there were so many issues out there that people had to deal with. But it put us all to the test, didn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and you got creative with your...
We did a lot of virtual things. You know, first of all, we did some T-shirts. We started with a different one that had like autism colors in it and hands, and we just wanted to appeal to other people besides just our staff, who's always giving 900% anyway.
People that are working in this field
Yep.
are so dedicated.
Uh-huh,
I
for
mean,
sure.
and they'll come through no matter what. They're going to soldier through on all of this. But you're having a golf tournament. You have them every year, I believe.
Yeah, we do. So last year we did
it.
not.
We did
And
a
actually, we
mailing.
do two major fundraising events a year. We do many others, but two of our biggest ones is a gala and the golf tournament. Our gala was supposed to be last April, so when stuff shut down in March, that
Just
shut
like
down the
everything
gala.
else,
And we were able to kind of modify that and have somewhat of online gala in the summer. But the golf is big, and we missed that last year. So I don't want it to go unsaid that our community has really supported us through COVID.
This could be
We've had a lot of
Edison,
donations.
right?
Yeah, but we're excited to get people back in person. So yeah, it's coming up. I'll let Vicki talk a little bit more.
On
but it's
May
coming up the end of
24th,
the month.
On the
Yep.
24th at the Edison Club, which is right in Rexford, we are already at something like 84 golfers, I think. We just ended our deadline for sponsors, although if people had their signs with us before for a whole sponsor or something, we still can get it done with them if they reached out really quickly. And golfers, we need golfers, and we need items we have a beautiful raffle. You know, they called it.
Is
used to
this like
call
a
it-
silent auction or?
It's not
or just-
a silent auction. It's more like, they used to call it Chinese auction,
Yeah.
but I like to call
You,
it
you
a
buy the
bas-
tickets and you
Yes.
drop
a
it in front of.
basket raffle. 'Cause
So you
it
look at the
seems
one with
so-
the least amount of tickets in it. You
Yeah.
hope you win.
Yeah, we have some great stuff that has been coming in, but we can still take those up to May 14th, plus golfers up to May 14th.
Yeah, oh, that's
so-
really fun
Yeah,
that you're
it's like,
working-
it's
and it is
great.
fun to work
and
on
it
those.
comes with food and, adult beverages and things like that. It's a great fun day, and we're hoping that'll be sunny.
And this is going to be on May 24th, so
Yeah,
on
it's a
May
Monday.
19th, things are, I believe the governor is opening
Yeah,
up
open a
things.
little bit more.
Well, it's kind of funny because I did read, we're going to open up to full capacity, but what is full capacity?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
what you think it is.
Yeah.
You still need that 6 foot,
Yeah.
Yeah.
distancing.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this, we are pretty much 6
Yeah.
feet apart here.
Yep.
Well, at our golf tournament, the Edison has already got this ironed out. They never shut down with golf tournaments last year. They did them, and we didn't do ours, but they have things in place. Like
Yeah,
it's,
you've got to, just like
and the
Proctor's,
golf teams
you know.
that come together, they kind of, it's up to them. Like they can respect each other and wear their masks or not wear their masks. They can work that out together
Yeah,
between their teams. But when we are in a public area, we have to do that, and we have to temperature check everybody.
Well,
There's
and the thing is,
things people are used to
we
that.
specifically want to beat this virus.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
if we become too casual about it, and in a sense, I'm without my mask and I'm thinking, am I too casual?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I read the CDC and everything, so we're good. But the point is that I'm still cognizant of hand washing. Look what happened to the flu.
Yeah.
No flu this year.
Yeah.
I wonder why. We
Yeah.
all wear masks.
Yeah.
And we've kept away from each other.
Yeah.
It just shows that we can beat viruses if we attend to it.
Yeah, I think people are excited. We're excited for the tournament, but I think people are excited to see people and be around people, and it's outside,
It's
and
outdoors,
so we're doing
yeah.
it very safely.
We're doing
but
a lot of stuff to try to make sure everybody is comfortable and protected, and
Yeah, I think
so many
people,
of
they
our
want to be
people
assured
have been
of
vaccinated
protection.
too.
So no gala?
We had our gala. We didn't have our regular gala where everybody comes together and sits close and dressed up and eats
And passes the
stuff.
butter and-
But we worked with the Riverstone Manor in Glenville.
That's a
and
nice place, yeah.
He was so fantastic to us, and we did a drive-through. Like they had already bought their tickets, so we pretty much like set up a drive-through. They came and got their food. We had like these standy things that had a gown and a tux.
They could
and
take a
you could
picture?
stand- Yeah.
Oh,
and
that
we
was a
did
great
wine
idea.
tow, and we did different stuff like that. And then
See,
we
you got creative.
We did. We are creative people. We are resourceful people at Crossroads. We work together. We seize opportunities.
Okay, I want to get back to Crossroads. What grades do you deal with? In case someone is interested
Grades,
in having their child.
yeah, so our
Enroll.
toddler room is what we're really focusing on right now, trying to get students 18 months and up. And so again, those are children without special needs, just a toddler daycare. And then it goes all the way up to kids to our 12 years old is where we
To
we
12
max out.
is where you, and then they transfer to another school.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
in which they all have, the public schools do have some special programs and
Yep.
things. But it's nice to know that you have a small, how big are your classes?
There's different ratios that are approved by the state. Some go up to 12. So our older
12 to
school.
1?
Actually, there's 12 students and 3 staff in the
Oh,
room.
okay, well, see,
and then
there
for
you go.
school
Yeah.
age, it's a little bit different. It's almost one-on-one staff.
Yeah, you almost,
Yep.
because it's a different style
Exactly.
of, yeah, exactly, and your population is different.
Right.
And I think it's really great that there's a school out there that is more sensitive. I mean,
Yeah.
when you talk about special needs, sometimes it's just the sound. They don't
Right.
like
Yeah.
loud noises,
Yeah.
and there's little things that we don't. I mean, Proctor tries to have, I know, events where it's
sensory friendly,
Yeah,
friendly,
yeah, sensitive
yeah.
friendly. That's the
Yep.
word I was trying to think
Yep.
of. And I know Bowtie does the
Yep.
same thing. So we have to be more aware. I guess the awareness is the word that I'm looking for.
And we just came off of Autism Awareness Month, was
Yep.
all of April. So in our case, we try to teach our kids a lot of the things that, are going to help them all through their life. Like if they're sensitive to noises, we will be conscious of that and helpful with that at the same time, we're going to try to teach them to be more tolerant
of the noise.
and also that, paired with communication training and, speech and language therapy and behavior plans and all of those things are what
Because you want them to move
we
out
want them
into
to
society.
be able to be
Exactly.
part of the world and to have a successful life and work
Yeah.
and have friends and be able to interact and be able to say,
Work through 'em.
I need a break, as opposed to having a behavioral episode that it prevents them from interacting and doing those fun things that are part of life. So
Well, you're
toughen them.
doing wonderful work, and I
Yeah.
want to thank you for being here today and telling our viewers about your fundraiser, but also about
Yeah.
your school
Yep,
and what
thank
you're
you
doing
for
up through
having
age
us.
12, and you having the toddlers. That's really fun,
Yes.
and anybody can,
Exactly.
do
They
that.
can just go to the website or call the school and we'll set up.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we've
From
had
there.
your website up
Yep.
there on the
Yep.
screen, I noticed.
And we're also looking for staff too.
And you're looking
So
for-
I have to say
You
that.
want a job? Hey, give them a call. They're
yeah,
going to help
it's
you.
like it's not a job that's for everyone. Not everyone is cut out for it, but
No.
it is so rewarding.
You'll know
and
if you
the
are,
right
right?
people,
Yeah.
if they're listening right now, they should reach out to us.
Absolutely.
It's a great place
I'd
to
like
work.
to say who's coming up on the show next time. We have the Friday Flavors of Armenia. We're going to be talking about their food, and this is going to be a little bit different than their usual festival, but we're going to learn about that. And then the Juneteenth event is coming up as well. The reptile exhibit will be on. We're going to see a boa constrictor, and we're going to see a blonde tarantula. I don't know if they used a hair dye on that one, but anyway, there is an Arizona blonde tarantula. And we'll be seeing a bearded dragon as well. And we'll be talking with the Schenectady Historical Society with all dresses, talking about fashion. Who knew? Stay tuned. And I'm Ann Perillo, your host, producer, director of Capital Region Today. I'm so happy to be here with you, and please join us for another show soon.